I've been deaf since I was 4. Last night, I read my father-in-law's lips I shouldn't have. Most people underestimate me. They speak slowly as if I were stupid. They shout at me as if the volume would change anything, or they simply ignore me and talk amongst themselves as if I didn't exist. That's precisely the advantage they never know they're giving me, because I can read lips. I don't do it like in the movies, where they understand a single word and guess the rest. I read lips like someone reading an open book. Every vowel, every consonant, every microscopic movement of the tongue and teeth. I've been 23 years without hearing the world, but I see everything. And people say horrible things when they think no one understands them. My husband, Adrian, is the only person who learned sign language for me. He did it before our first date. He introduced himself at the cafe by spelling out his name with a nervous smile and using the wrong fingers. He said, "Hi, my name is Adrian," instead of "my name is," and I fell in love right then and there with a man who took the time to try. We got married 2 years ago, and everything was perfect, except for his family. Adrian's relatives are old money. His father, Hector, owns a chain of pharmacies that makes millions. His mother, Patricia, organizes charity events more for the photos than for the actual charity. His older brother, Diego, is the kind of person who looks at you and decides you're not worth it. They have a house in the mountains that looks like a hotel, and a chauffeur they treat worse than the dog. Adrian is the black sheep. He chose to be a veterinarian and marry me instead of following family tradition. Last night was Hector's monthly birthday dinner. I put on a nice dress, did my makeup, and mentally prepared myself for 3 hours of being ignored. We arrived at 8, and the house was full of business partners and relatives. While we were having dinner, Adrian sat to my left, and there was an empty chair to my right. Diego was across the table talking to his father. Leaning toward each other, anyone would have thought they were discussing business, but I saw the words forming on their lips. Hector spoke first. "The insurance is up to date." Diego nodded. 300,000 in Mom's name. Hector looked at Patricia, who was laughing with an aunt, and declared, "If everything goes well, it'll be settled by Thursday. Dr. Garza says the correct dose leaves no trace." The air left my lungs. Dose leaves no trace. Insurance. They were planning to kill Patricia, their own wife and mother, for a life insurance policy, and to prevent an audit she was planning on the company after discovering accounting irregularities. Diego even mocked her. "Adrian doesn't know anything and can't possibly know. If he finds out, he'll want to interfere. You know how he is, always wanting to save the world." They both laughed and changed the subject as if they were talking about the weather. I placed the glass on the table with such precision that no one noticed my hands trembling. I had 5 days to prevent a murder. When I got home, I told Adrian everything. His face went through confusion, disbelief, and finally fear. Although he initially tried to doubt me, he knew I would never lie about something like this. He confessed that his mother had mentioned suspicions of fraud at the company months ago. We decided we needed real proof, since my testimony as a lip reader had no legal standing. On Tuesday, I accepted Patricia's invitation for tea. I knew Hector was working from home that day. While Patricia excitedly showed me the plans for a foundation for deaf children she wanted to create, I saw Hector through the glass of his studio. He was on the phone. "Garza, it's Hector. I need to confirm about Thursday. Dinner is at 8. Patricia will have her glass of wine as usual. That's where the secret lies." "How long does it take to take effect?" 6 hours? Perfect. By dawn it will look like a natural heart attack. "And Garza, you signed the death certificate. I need it to be clean." That was the final confirmation. I left the house heartbroken for Patricia, who, as she said goodbye, told me, "Isa, you're the best thing that's ever happened to this family." I couldn't hold back the tears in the car. I texted Adrian. "It's true. Thursday.
Wine.
Poison. We have 48 hours. Adrian replied that he had already contacted someone in the judicial police. I arrived at the apartment and froze. An unfamiliar black car was outside. As I entered, I stopped dead in my tracks. It wasn't the police. Diego was sitting on our sofa, and Adrian had a bleeding lip. Diego looked me straight in the eyes and slowly moved his lips, with infinite cruelty. Dad says the deaf woman saw something she shouldn't have. The atmosphere grew heavy. Diego wasn't alone. 2 burly men were in the kitchen. They tried to intimidate us, but what they didn't know was that Adrian had already sent the recording of my statement and Dr. Garza's details to his contact. In a swift movement, the door was broken down. Not by thugs, but by the investigative unit Adrian had alerted. The scene was chaotic. Diego tried to flee, but he was subdued. In the confusion, I managed to see Hector being arrested at his mansion simultaneously, thanks to the coordinated intervention. Thursday arrived, but there was no funeral. There was justice. Patricia moved in with us for a while. The shock of learning that her husband and son wanted her dead was more painful than any silence. Today, Hector and Diego await trial for conspiracy to commit murder and massive fraud. Sometimes, people think that by not listening I'm vulnerable, but the truth is that silence allowed me to see the darkness that others hide behind their words. Now, when I smile at family dinners, it's no longer out of politeness. It's because we all finally know the truth.